All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is David Sullivan with the High Table, and I got a special guest today. But I'm gonna tell you something. This guy here is on fire for the Lord. He's on a new mission. God told him to jump out there and be brave. A former teacher at Metro Nashville Public Schools. I met him at alternative school on Hart Lane. It was a very wild environment. It was wild.
It was
a very wild environment, but we made it through. Okay, and we got some stories about that. And ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're hearing, like what you're listening to, please go to my channel at The High Table with David Sutter and subscribe. Let's get the numbers up. So now, without further ado, I have Mr. Fred Whitley. How you doing, my brother?
I am doing well, David. Bruh, thank you for having me at the High Table.
Hey, listen. It's always good to have an entrepreneur here, a guy that got a vision. We're going back and forth, and that's what we good. So it's good to have a vision, and let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Let's talk about what high school did you go to? What high school did you go to?
It's only really one high school in Nashville. we got some other, they might be preparatory schools or elementary schools, but you're talking about high school. It's only the Creek.
The Creek, the
Whites Creek High School. Class of 1990. Shout out to our 35th anniversary coming up tomorrow, actually. Well, when this is aired, it was going to be on the 15th.
Right. So, what inspired you to get into education? Okay, I'm just gonna skip a little stuff. I'm gonna be all over the place.
That's cool. That's how I do it.
Yeah, but what inspired you to go into teaching? Was it a certain incident, or you had a favorite teacher, or you just kind of gravitated toward education?
I think what sent me to education, actually by default, going into college, I wanted to be a barrister. That's the fancy word for being an attorney.
Okay.
And midway through it, while I was in...
Oh, tell me how. You get a hand clap for that, because I didn't know what a barrister was.
But thank you for the hand clap.
I'm just saying, go ahead, finish up.
I'm going to give you a reason to use all the buttons down there.
Okay.
If I get ready to cuss, you got a button for that. What's the cuss button sound like? I won't do it.
Do your thing, man. Do your thing. Gotta do your thing.
All right, so I was at the Northwest YMCA, Bardo YMCA. I was a site director for Alex Green Elementary School. And at Alex Green, that meant I would start the before school and after school program.
Okay.
And while there, it was a girl I went to high school with, her mom, Erica Whitmore. Erica Whitmore's mom said, I was doing a pretty good job and I need to consider going into education. I told her I wanted to be an attorney. That's what I was in college for.
Right.
And she said, you don't want to be an attorney. The phone book is filled with pages and pages of attorneys and they're all struggling. And I should have said, and it's filled with pages and pages of teachers,
right.
And they all struggling. But her words, Erica Whitmore's mom, stuck with me. She was teacher there at Alex Green Elementary School, and so after that, and I guess some other, I kind of shifted my major to be education, political science, and education.
Okay.
And then I just went for education wasn't my first choice, but I think it was one of my best choices, and I put my all into it, even though it wasn't my first choice.
Right. And so, going to Whites Creek, I've always viewed Whites Creek as somewhat of a competitive school.
Okay.
I went to Maplewood, and so we looked at Whites Creek as sort of like a preppy school. A very pretty girl. Let's be very clear. The girl situation was incredible.
We had creme de la creme.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, top tier. Top tier ladies at Whites Creek, but for some reason they gravitated towards Maplewood's parking lot. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. They just found their way to East Nashville.
They wanted a bad boy.
But the competition was there. You have a lot of doctors and lawyers that come out of Whites Creek. And then you had the great band director.
Robert Churchwell.
Everybody loved Robert Churchwell.
Who's the son of the Jackie Robinson of journalism. He first black writer for the Nashville Banner. And the brother of Nashville's preeminent heart surgeon, Dr. Keith Churchwell. That Churchwell family line was generational wealth, not just generational power. And so came through that line of Churchwells.
Wow, now that I did not know. And so you went to Tennessee State?
I went to Tennessee State, which was, Whites Creek was really like a mini TSU.
Okay, talk about it.
It felt like, when I got to TSU, I realized that I was already prepped with rigorous academic courses from Whites Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I was well prepared. I had a good cohort of friends with me. I could play an instrument, so I managed well with the band. everything was kind of lined up. It wasn't a gap of I couldn't write, couldn't speak, didn't have self-confidence. Whites Creek gave me all of that, and I'm sure that students there today are continuing that tradition, and the teachers are helping them kids with it.
Wow. And my mother and father graduated from Whites Creek. From TSU.
Okay.
It's called A&I.
That's right.
Okay. And they met at TSU. Okay?
Oh, I love that story.
Yeah, and they were introduced by the great Wilma Rudolph.
Wow.
So, hey, guy, listen. History.
And her story. Let's talk about it. So, that wasn't just history. That was her story. Say her story for me.
That's her story.
That's right. There's always history, but also her story. You got a mama, you got a sister, you got an auntie, we got Wilma Rudolph. Her story.
Enough said. Listen, you get a hand clap for that, Willie. You getting all kind of hand clap.
Well, thank you, brother.
So you go to TSU from West Creek. You graduate with a secondary degree, secondary education.
Well, my major was political science with teacher endorsement.
Okay.
And so TSU did something real great. They had us, with teaching, you just can't go in to teach. You have to be endorsed to teach everything you teach. So you have to have an endorsement or a license for U.S. history, for world history, for psychology, for sociology. The way TSU worked the program when I was there was if you came out with a political science degree in education, they wanted you to be able to go into a classroom and be able to teach everything that a history teacher could teach. So you wouldn't just be pigeonholed in the U.S. history. So I was able to teach all of the histories and herstories.
Wow. And did you, being someone that's upfront about the culture, did you find many discrepancies in what you was teaching from a historical perspective as opposed to what you really knew? Did you find some discrepancies in history, should I say? And
history. At the time, no, I didn't, because I haven't always been woke. I'm not one, just the red, black, and green guy you see today, the guy who's got drapetomania.
Yeah.
The drapetomania was a condition that the slaves would have. A slave had drapetomania if they wanted to escape slavery because they thought it was a mental condition. Because who would want to leave the plantation?
Right.
And so I haven't always had drapetomania, and I haven't always been woke AF. And so I didn't see a misalignment at the beginning. It was only through my later years because I thought those pro-African people were kind of weird and odd at first. But then I come to realize that they were dropping truth about us that had been, what was the truth had been so twisted and maligned that I thought it was a lie. And so as I got older and started to read more and more for myself, spent more time with Youssef at the Kubalan Images, I started to realize it. So answer your question, no, I didn't realize there was a misgap at first, but when I did realize it was a misgap, I made it my mission to tell the truth in everything we talk from, even little simple things. Every time period of history, African Americans have been at the backbone of it.
Right. That was it shocking at first? What some of the first stories that you started to question as opposed to what you was taught in school to what you found out on your own? Was it a specific story or just all of it in general you started to kind of question?
It happened gradual because I just would find little things like, right here in Middle Tennessee, we'll talk about there was a foundry that made I'm having a brain fart for a second, looking at the cameras. But we would bail. There was a foundry. One thing we'd talk about was the Industrial Revolution. And so the Industrial Revolution was built off of iron and Bessemer steel and Bessemer, Alabama. But nobody ever told a story that it was slaves at these iron and these pig farms, that pig iron, that were making this, and slaves would lose limbs. Nobody ever told that part of the story. Nobody ever told the story that after slavery was over with, there were riots because plantation owners stayed wealthy people and they stayed landowners, but they didn't want to hire the local whites because the local whites were not skilled the way the blacks were. Right. And so there were riots of whites who wanted their jobs from blacks. And so it was not that the whole story has never really been told, and I'm really thankful to social media and internet because it's getting that story out in 60-second snippets that never could have. The kids didn't have the patience to get in school. Right,
and one of the stories, we're gonna be all over the place today.
That's okay.
But one of the stories that I found out about was the massacre in Tulsa.
Yes,
I remember seeing a clip with Tom Hanks, the great actor.
Okay,
and they played that clip for him. He was astonished. Like, he had no idea that had happened. and he's close to 70 years old now. I mean, he was probably 65 or so, but that part of our history has always been tucked away. And all we want is a simple conversation. Why do you think the powers that be are afraid of a simple conversation about our past? Why are they afraid of that, you think?
I think sometimes we can give them more credit than we think. When we say they, we apply that to be everybody. But I don't think necessarily all whites or whites in education know all our history either.
Right.
So I don't want to give them that much credit. I believe there are some that would hide the story, but the blueprint worked everywhere. Every city you go to across America, there was a Black Wall Street. You talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Nashville had its Black Wall Street. It was downtown off of Charlotte. It was on Jefferson Street for a while. And so I think every city had that. Not every city had the massacre that they had, but it was commonplace not to tell the story of what would happen. And so I think, not to give them the credit, but I think maybe our parents' generation or their parents, they were so close to it that they just didn't feel like talking about it,
right.
But they didn't always share it with us because, coming out of Whites Creek, as great as it was, I was not bombarded with J.C. Napier, Preston Taylor, and all those places who I know those men, Luby.
Right.
And so I wasn't hit with that like I think I should have been. Like I try to hit the kids with it now because it was when I was teaching, we talk about the alternative school.
Right.
I was at a school and the kids were burning on each other. They was like, oh man, you from J.C. Napier, you from Preston Taylor. But by then I was woke and I had drapetomania. Right. And I was like, hold up, little guys. What y'all know about J.C. Napier and Preston Taylor? I don't know, man, just the projects I live in. And so I'm thinking these guys were the equivalent to millionaires for their day.
Wow.
J.C. Napier was appointed by President Taft to sign money. That's a black man in 1903 signing our dollar bills. Okay, Preston Taylor had land. All the land we go out, Elm Hill Pike, that area, that was Preston Taylor's land. So I realized that my generation had dropped the ball and had done, I'm going to let you use that button.
Oh, you found
piss poor. Use the button. No, I want the other button.
Oh, the other button.
Yeah, our generation had done a piss poor job of educating the younger people about, who these people were. So I realized that I was not going to continue that anymore.
Right.
I had great black teachers, but they didn't hit me over the head with Diane Nash. I was an adult finding about Diane Nash. Maybe I wasn't listening, but I just wasn't told.
Nash?
Man, I believe Nashville should be really renamed for her, but she's instrumental. I can tell you about this. Let's rank important black women. Let's rank her story women. So you might have Rosa Parks. Okay. You got Harriet Tubman. Okay. You have Vice President Kamala Harris. Right under that, you got Diane Nash.
Oh, wow.
In the pantheon, she is so important because she transformed the civil rights movement, impacted Nashville in the world. Diane Nash, she's only about 4'11".
Okay.
She stood up to the white mayor of Nashville. And so let this sink in. She stood up to the white mayor of Nashville with a silent march. So there's about a mile-long march of black people going downtown to confront the mayor. And she asked the mayor, was segregation right? This was in response to the sit-ins that was going on in Nashville and in response to Z. Alexander Luby's home being bombed. Right. So not only does she confront the mayor of Nashville, she confronts the American system of segregation.
Wow.
The American system of segregation, a black woman confronted that. Somebody in the audience, no, not you, but you. I need you to say black girl magic. That's right. Say it one more time. Black girl magic. She confronted the American system of racism. Let this sink in. A 4'11" or so black woman confronted the white mayor. That couldn't have happened in Alabama or some other places, but it happened right here in Nashville. And let's put that in perspective. You probably what, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'2".
6'2", and so let's go and get you a few more inches. He's 6'5". All right. Okay. And so 6'2" black man had to look at the ground when talking to white boys.
Wow.
This was a 4'11" black woman who looked up and into the eyes of American system of racism when she spoke to the mayor. So that's who Diane Nash is.
Well, let me tell you something. I had no idea. I had never heard of that. And I'm going to do my research.
You don't have to do research, man. We already got that for you. Soul of America Tours. Okay. Right here. You don't have to do that. You just get back and you get soul certified. We've done the research. We got a team so you can enjoy it with some Motown music. Okay. I know I'm jumping ahead.
No.
But I had to do a shameless plug for Soul of America Tours.
That's why I got you here, because I want you to plug and let me tell you something about this guy here, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta do. I want you to look at that camera.
Okay, I'm gonna look at this camera right here.
He came to the studio with paraphernalia, not just hats. He has T-shirts. He has polo shirts, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to all that right now, and it just kind of threw me off because I was not expecting this, and I gotta be honest, I wasn't expecting this type of energy, but I love it though.
You ever heard of Ernie Allen?
Yes.
Ernie Allen talks about, he says, this show, we're going to put 10 pounds of nails in a 2-pound bag.
Okay.
So I live my philosophy off what Ernie Allen says, put 2 pounds of nails, 10 pounds of nails in a 2-pound bag. So if you live life, folks, trying to put more than you asked, give more than is expected, you'll get more from it. Just oversee.
Wow. So what caused this transformation for you?
Okay.
Because you talked about you was not woke while you was teaching at first. What caused it now? Because, hey man, I've learned 3 or 4 things just in this short amount of time. What caused, was it a certain incident or conversation, or you just felt the need to just know more about your people?
I think in teaching history, I've always wanted my classroom to be meaningful. And I realized that when teaching out the standard textbook and teaching what the state standards were for the state of Tennessee, I felt empty. I knew there was more, and there were glaring incidences. Not just the stuff that was hidden in plain sight.
Right.
But I just felt the need to want to teach more. Our kids wanted more. I teach them a lesson, and they was like, "Wah wah," like that sound.
Wah, wah,
and hit that sound for me. And so, in the quest to be a better teacher,
this guy's crazy.
In the quest to be a better teacher, I realized that, I'm sorry, folks, I'll make a short story long. In the quest to be a better teacher, I realized I needed to stop teaching the subject. Like you ask most people, what do they teach? They'll give you a subject. I realized kids don't give a SHIT about a subject. Kids care about life. So when I started teaching kids life, that meant like if you came to me and you said, hey, I want to be an influencer and I want to be in the media and I want to interview people.
Right.
You don't give a crap about U.S. history and history. What you care about is maybe how media was done throughout time, the Gutenberg press. Maybe you care about the North Star and Frederick Douglass, how people had pamphlets, and you trace the role of the media and William Randolph Hearst throughout time. So I would make an agreement with my students. These are the standards we got to learn. But whatever you come to me wanting to learn, if you want to be a nurse, we're going to learn about battlefield tactics. We're going to learn about the pandemic of 1819. We're going to learn about how they would operate on people without anesthesia. But you got to do that for every time period, for every era of American history and herstory. And so, but check these boxes off so your mama don't whoop your ASS, so you don't look stupid on paper.
Right.
But we check these boxes off. But I try to tailor a lesson for every kid that it made sense to them. So if you ask me right now, what do I teach?
What do you teach?
I teach life via the standards of social studies, U.S. history, or personal finance. So notice I said I teach life via those standards.
Right.
And in the quest to teaching life, I realized that African-American kids felt empty and they felt hollow, like eating empty calories, And so I needed something more meaningful. And in the quest to do that for them, I just started learning more and more history to give to them so they could perk up and learn history. Nobody wants to read about our only existence in American history used to be that we were slaves and everything came from that. Not that we came over here with the brother of Mansa Musa with shiploads of gold, and they're finding gold in Latin America that trace back to the same percentages of the way it was made from Africa. No, they didn't tell us that story. They didn't tell us about the mound builders. They didn't tell us about these Indians were somewhat Africans, and so just many of those stories I felt that would enrich it. And it didn't just stop with black people. It goes to Native Americans and Mexicans. They cared to hear their story at a deeper rate. And whites don't necessarily want to hear that we beat up your ancestors, but they want to hear some of their greatness, absent of the sin of slavery. So finding a way to make history and herstory more relevant got me into what was important to me, and then just kind of evolved from there.
And that's the greatness of working at alternative school.
Absolutely.
You can color outside the line.
Yes.
And so you have your curriculum, but it's a huge gray area.
Billy Feldman, the principal at the time, he allowed a lot of leeway into teaching the truth. That was a white guy. He's a brother. Billy Feldman is really white chocolate. I know he's still out there being a principal now. He allowed me to color outside the lines.
Yeah.
Dr. I forgot her name right now. A black woman's a principal at Johnson ALC for a minute. Starts with a B. It'll come to me back in a minute. I got so much facts in my head. But a lot of principals allowed me to color outside the lines and reach kids in a non-traditional way.
Right.
And so that kept the discipline, inappropriate discipline down, and allowed them to find meaning in a school system that they hadn't found meaning before.
Right. And my couple of years at was it Johnson?
We were at Johnson when it was
Johnson.
it was called it wasn't called Johnson. It was called Jerry Baxter then.
It was Jerry Baxter.
That's right.
And what I noticed was just how aggressive and just kids were just tired.
Yeah, they were.
Tons of structure, but just tired. Yeah. They got put out of school for whatever reason. It kind of pricked my interest of just wanting to be around young people because they were lost. Some would come to school drunk, high on other drugs.
They were coping. They were self-medicating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something that parents couldn't have done. Something that the traditional school system was failing them at, and so they were just trying to cope.
And it kind of hurt my soul a little bit.
Yeah,
these were young guys that hopefully they're still alive, but they were aggressive. Yeah. They were very, very aggressive, and I had a tangle with a couple of them. But at the end of the day, man, I love them to death, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I got the job because, one teacher got into a fight, and that was it, It made history and it made rounds. But that's how I was able to get that job. But can you think back when the first time you decided to teach some serious black history to a kid that had got thrown out of school? It just...
it was so gradual that I can't really think of one time because it was gradual over the years. But after going to start teaching at the alternative school, I knew that I needed more meaning because at the alternative school, the classroom sizes were smaller.
Oh my goodness!
And so I might have five kids in there, and so it's kind of like Becky might bring some bland potato salad or bland macaroni. No offense to any Beckys out there. I know I was probably using an inappropriate stereotype, but I think people get it. Becky bring that bland potato salad or macaroni to the thing. I couldn't offer blandness to kids who are real. These kids, some of them, unfortunately, because of starting at home issues and maybe individual issues, but kids who had been a part of robberies or attempted murders or rapes, you got to come real with them. And so face to face, if it's not real and raw and mean, if it don't touch them the way they need to be touched, they're going to tune you out and they might get violent. So in a way to quell that without having to fight every day, I said, I just got to up my game with being real.
Right.
But I think the Lord allowed me to line several things together because right outside of my window at the alternative school, when we moved to 2nd Avenue South, was a sign that said that building was formerly the Negro League baseball field for Tom Wilson Park. So the Negro League Elite Giants played right there where I was teaching. So I saw that every day. I was in the area that I had come to know that one of the first black neighborhoods in Nashville was out south and also out north because of the Civil War. And so then it started to hit me that there's not one time period in American history that African Americans don't have something to do with it.
Right.
But our books were absent of that, and that's why our kids was tuning out because they didn't see their greatness.
Right.
And they didn't need 1 month to tell we were great. We did greatness all around the year, so we didn't just need Black History Month. I also shout out to the bruh Ruth to Carter G. Woodson for which he announced that right here in Nashville at the 1920 conclave of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated that there would be a Negro History and Improvement Week. He announced that right here in Nashville.
That's right.
But on the side,
what did that flow into?
That flew. Well, he did it at Meharry, which is so many things it flew into. It flew into Black History Month. So Negro Achievement Week became Black History Month. So Nashville was a major part of it. Although he was in New York, he made a national announcement here at the 1920 conclave at the historic Meharry Medical School. And so understand, folks, that before we could go to Alabama, before we could go to Colorado, before we could go to Oregon, we had to go to HBCUs.
That's right. Had to.
And Nashville was on the map. People understand this. Nashville's been on the map since slavery. When we talk about Nashville being the Athens of the South, Nashville had HBCUs prior to TSU, Fisk, and Meharry. So people were gravitating towards Middle Tennessee African Americans for academic excellence. And they were becoming teachers and farmers, but they were becoming better teachers, better farmers, better moms, better dads, because they could earn a salary.
Right.
One thing, you get me to talking, man. I'm going to jump off into a whole bunch.
No. You're here to talk. That's why I got you here. And so we bounced around. We talked about where you come from, your high school, your time at TSU. I got you here for what you're about to talk about now.
Let me say this one thing first.
Yes.
Give shout out to my mom and my dad, Juanita Campbell Whitley and Fred M. Whitley Sr. Also, let me give a shout out to Lee Chapel AME Church that made me who I am, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, the one on Joe Johnson. Nothing against the one on 32nd, but the one on Joe Johnson by the projects. My dad was the minister there, so all of that kind of wrapped into who I am, and I couldn't let you say that without me mentioning my mama and my dad.
Shout out to mom and dad.
That's right.
Shout out to Ella Reggie that have gone home to glory 2016 and 2020 respectively.
Yes.
But let's talk about now.
Now.
Okay. We talk about now. And God moved you to start this business.
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to talk about it in how has it grown since you decided to leave teaching into right now?
Well, I didn't necessarily decide to leave teaching.
Sometimes
Let me be clear on it. It decided for me. I was teaching at a school this past year, and they came to me at the end and said that we're not going to need you. Our numbers have dropped. So if anybody's looking for a certified history teacher in 421, 422, 423, all of those, I teach history, but I also teach students life via the standards of that. So, but I didn't necessarily choose to leave teaching. But God let me pass by 4 streets.
Okay.
I passed by 2 streets and I stopped at 2 others.
Okay.
I passed by the street of fear and doubt and I stopped at the intersection of faith and action.
Okay.
Can I get that one more time?
Oh, you get a hand clap. Hold up. So you were afraid at first?
Yeah. One more time, folks. I know in case you're not writing this down, you got to pass through the intersection of fear and doubt. And you got to come up on the intersection of faith and action. Those two go together. Let me give you a specific address. 2118 at the intersection of faith and action. 2118 because the 21st letter of the alphabet is U. The 18th letter of the alphabet is R. So you put that together, your. So that's your faith and your action is what brought me to doing this. So I realized that I didn't have that 70K that I was making with teaching, but I did have all the resources. God gave me the mindset, skill set, and tool set. So I said, let me just be like God. God's a God of creation.
Right.
So let me start creating things with the tools that I have. Maybe I can surpass my teaching income, but I'm not doing it for the income. I'm doing it for the impact.
Right.
But so you're seeing a massive growth of Soul of America Tours because of not having a teaching job to go into. I got to pay for my family,
absolutely.
I got a kid in New York in school, got a kid and a kid at TSU.
Yeah.
And part of that's thanks to you because you were one of their mentors when you were at NSA. I had a daughter and a son, I got some twins. They went to NSA and David was there as a mentor and an inspire folks helping students along the way. And so I remember they gave him a big old hug at graduation. I'm like, where daddy hug at? They're looking for Mr. Sutter. So thank you, brother, for that role and mentoring and shaping my children's lives.
Well, I tell you, I saw my dad do that.
Okay.
I saw my mother do that. Tons of auxiliary clubs.
Yes.
They used to read to the kids at Faith United Baptist Church, and my dad did the same. My dad was an educator. My mom was an educator.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Real quick, my dad, he was something else. And that's what he said. He said he was a hired killer in the Navy, but he probably was a cook. He ain't killed nobody.
Sometimes you got to make people. What did Don Bishop Magic Wand say? You got to make her hit that button. You got to make her, boo, think you going to kill her.
Right.
So if you make some kids think you're going to kill them, they get in line.
One thing I know for sure is that I think that you have found your niche because it's easy. You educate.
It don't feel like work.
See, if you can do something where it don't feel like work, you do it for the long haul, brother. And I'm proud of you because leaving the safety of whether sometimes God squeezes you so tough and makes it so uncomfortable that you have to leave. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He breaks a shell to get an omelet.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it sounds like you have found your mission. were you afraid at first? Like once you start going and the phone started ringing, did you feel good about yourself? Like, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Or were you still trying to get into the teaching, get back to teaching?
Well, that just not going back to teaching just happened this year. So, but I had started the company several years ago while I was still teaching. But I don't think I have any fear because probably I'm stupid and naive. But I had an old gospel song that's in my head.
Okay.
The old gospel song says, "What a privilege it is to carry."
Yes.
Not some things, not part of the things, but everything to the Lord in prayer. So I knew it was a privilege to take this situation of not having a teaching job and not having the insurance, that safety net, to God in prayer. But I know people had done it before me. You know, there's a book out there called A Black Choice, Think and Grow Rich, Dennis Kimbrough, and he lists all these African-American entrepreneurs who made it. And so right here in town, you know, I didn't have to get it up out the mud because it was already taken up out the mud by the Sweats, that restaurant. It was already taken up out the mud by the drivers. It was already taken up out the mud by Preston Taylor. It was already taken up out the mud by Diane Nash. It was already taken up out the mud by the McKissick and McKissick. So I just had the Nashvillians paved the way. I just had to continue it. Right there at the church that I went to, so many entrepreneurs were there. Richard Lewis told me as a young boy, I guess it was a boy at the time, he said, find a need and fill it. You'll never be broke. So I just started mixing all these things that came to me from people who had taken it up out the mud. And I said, if they did it without a safety net, I can do it.
Right. So tell me about the first time you got customers. You got your bus, you hustled up, got the bus, your phone ring. Now what? Then there's time to show up. How was that? Were you nervous, scared? Tell me about that.
I think there was some nervousness, but the first, I haven't always had the bus. The bus has just come along now. If you hadn't seen the bus, there's a thing out there now, see us, tag us. So if you see the bus out there and you tag it, we got some gifts we're going to give whoever wins it for that particular week. But I started off with my Bible says, don't despise meager beginnings. So I started off stepping on other buses. And so I would step on the charter buses and give the tour. Or I would advertise a tour and pray that enough people would sign up because I'd already leased the bus from somebody else. So, but the first time I did it, I actually stepped on the bus. And I'm going to give a shout out to principal of Stratford High School, Michael Pratt, because he was my very first customer. His family, the Pratt family, hired me to give their family reunion back in, I guess it was 2018, 2019.
That's pressure. Reunion.
It was. But God had prepped me for it. It was kind of like a classroom. I don't really walk into the classroom with a lot of stress sometimes because I know what I'm going to teach. It's well thought out. What I would do in the classroom is I would sit down in a student seat and mentally work through the activities that I'm going to give them. So I would sit down and think. I would think everything through. Begin with the end in mind. If you hadn't read that book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, read it. But I would begin with the end in mind. And so I had thought out, one thing we do on the tours, I know the route we're going. I time some songs to that. I time some games to that. And then I've got the flexibility to be able to, based on what people say or do, to add to it. So there was some nervousness, but I've been on stage for 25 years at the time teaching. Teaching is like, I don't know why more teachers don't go into stage performances or edutainment because we've got the ability to maintain a crowd and read the audience. So I wasn't that nervous the first time.
Wow. And so you made it through there.
Yes.
You said the Pratt family,
Pratt, yes. So that's the reason why we did at the beginning of the school year this year, we had a back to school drive. It was one of our community cares days. On a community care day, the tour is free if you bring whatever we're asking for whoever's going to receive it. So at the beginning of the school year 2025, we donated half of all of the schools. You could take a tour for free if you brought 3 brand new school supplies, no used stuff. I don't know, pencils are already sharpened. So you have to bring some new stuff. And half of it went to, is going to Michael Pratt at Stratford, and the other half is going to Troy Kahana at the Inspired Music and Arts Academy. So we want to give back.
Wow, I like that. And
shout out to those 2 places.
And so how long does a route take through Nashville? How long does it take?
We're trimming it down 2.5 to 3 hours. Nashville has grown and the traffic has gotten, this is the it city, people. You need to be in Nashville. You need to bring your family here for black stuff, just for regular cultural stuff, for fun. About 2.5 to 3 hours. And I'm thinking about splitting it up into a north and a south tour. Because by the time we stop and let somebody have a bio break, it could easily go to 4 hours, but we try to make sure it stays within about 2.5 hours.
Wow. And so where are you taking this next? What's your vision for the tours?
Well, the vision is that Soul of America Tours be the tour company you go to if you want an African-American themed tour anywhere in the nation. So it was originally called Tubman Garvey Tours.
Okay.
For Harriet Tubman and Marcus Garvey. Being a teacher, I start to brainstorm, okay, I know people name things because of what they're associated with.
Right.
Nike was associated with a god of swiftness and a god of being fierce in war, like zipping around. If you go to the Athena statue here in Nashville, Nike is a little goddess that's in the hand of Athena. But Nike was a winged goddess that zipped around. So when Phil Knight wanted something that represented fast and moving, he chose Nike. And so kind of like the Sierra Trucks. The Sierra Trucks are named after the Sierra Mountain Range, which means rugged and tough. Yukon is an area of Alaska that's rugged and tough. So I knew when I named my tour company, I said, let me apply that to African American history and what? Herstory.
Herstory.
There we go. And so I said Tubman Garvey, because Harriet Tubman moved people. Marcus Garvey moved people mindset. And he had the Back to Africa movement. So it was originally Tubman Garvey Tours, and it still is. If you go to TubmanGarveyTours.com, it'll send you the Soul of America Tours. But let me take it home to answer your question.
Okay.
Where we're going with that. At that point, I knew that Tubman Garvey was just a little too black. And I need to kind of soften it because we're not the only people in this world. And so sometimes unfortunately, we realize that our greatness after other people realize our greatness. Like Hot Chicken sat here in Nashville for years.
Decades.
And it wasn't until they decided that Hot Chicken was good that it blows up in the world's attention. So sometimes other people have to give us validation, but I don't necessarily believe that's necessarily true, but I understand how it is at times. But so Soul of America Tours was a little too black to market, so I needed something that represented everybody. So Soul of America Tours represents white, black, Asian, Hispanic. Right. No matter who you love or how you love, we're all the fabric. That's the soul of America. So where I plan on going is I plan on going to D.C. I plan on going to Dallas. I plan on going to Las Vegas. I plan on going to Compton, California. I plan on going to Charleston. Wherever there's a significant amount of tourists and a market, I want Soul of America Tours to be there.
Wow. And that's pretty cool, guy.
Well, thank you,
funny
buddy.
how just a thought, God gives you a thought, and then you build on it and build on it.
We should perish for a lack of vision, and God's a God of creation. God wants us creating. We consumed enough. I got enough of everything else. But what I don't have enough of is Chebro. We'll talk about that in a minute.
We're going to talk about this.
God's a God of creation.
We're going to do this right now, and I'm going to give you, because I want to keep talking to you, but you itching to promote. So I'm going to give you the opportunity.
No, we do it the way you want to do it, bro.
No, brother. You come in here, you take it over, and I'm going to allow you to take over. This is, the floor is yours, my brother. Talk about your stuff here.
Well, first, I want y'all to get certified with Soul of America Tours. And what we give is African American themed tour of Nashville and eventually America. It's not some tour with some old guys driving the bus, pointing stuff out. That's not the way we do it. Our brand is there's a driver driving, and one of our tour guides are edutainers. So at a black family reunion, you got to play spades. You want to play spades?
I do.
We playing spades on the bus. And so in regular spades,
that is black.
We keep it black. The bus just got a pair of dice on the bus.
Okay.
We got a pair of dice hanging from the mirror, and when you get on the bus, you got to give the soul. It's a soul duck. Over the front of the bus, there's a duck. It is a Jimi Hendrix looking duck. You got to give it a fist bump, kind of like the Apollo.
Yeah.
What happened if you went out on the stage and didn't rub the wood?
Oh man, some bad gonna happen.
Man, the gods of the Apollo would not work with you. So the tour gods will frown upon you, and you won't get soul certified unless you give that soul duck a fist bump. And so get soul certified, folks. But I think I'm inching towards my newest baby. In addition to that, which is Chair Bro.
Chair Bro. What's the science behind the Chair Bro?
It's not a lot of science. It's just some funny.
It's just funny. Where does it come from?
Well, it comes from two things. On August the 5th, 2023, there was probably an alcohol-induced brawl in Montgomery, Alabama. And so let me swap hats for a second.
Okay.
So I'm going to take off my Soul of America Tours hat, and I'm going to put on my Chair Bro hat. And now y'all don't want to see me swap clothing, so just imagine I had on my Chair Bro shirt. So I needed to kind of swap things, but You see that chair, bro, right there. So I'm just gonna put the hat on, and if we was editing, if I had time, you see me come back with a new outfit on, but we'll just go with that.
Yeah, he wanted to do a wardrobe change. Now listen, you're not Beyonce, cuz.
I'm not Aretha Franklin.
Not Aretha Franklin. Oh my God.
She did it. Didn't she have a wardrobe change at the funeral?
She did.
How do you get a rigor mortis body?
Black people are so daggone creative, man.
Did they just drape it over? Was it one of them breakaways? I imagine the top was Velcro. You could just put it on. How you lift the body up? And I want to know the science behind that.
Well, first of all, she probably put it in her will. I need 5 outfits. If I die, I need 5 outfits.
You just rip one off, then rip another one off.
Oh my God.
Dude, interview whoever had that body. How they do that?
That's what we do. We're so creatively.
That's God.
It is God. It is God.
There's a God in you, folks. There's a God in you. And if you recognize that God in you and start creating, you consumed enough. You got enough red bottom. You got enough Nikes, which you don't have enough chair, bro, though. But you consumed enough. And so create something. There's a book in you. Don't take it to the grave. There's a restaurant in you. Don't take it to the grave. Matter of fact, I got a restaurant coming. My restaurant is going to be called...
Uh-oh. I'm afraid. What's the name of it?
We'll stick to chair, bro. We'll stick to chair. Okay. We'll stick to chair, bro, right now. But chair, bro, was just born out of that Montgomery fight on August the 5th, 2023. If you all noticed, we had our international launch of chair, bro, on August the 5th, 2025. My team, we went down to Montgomery, Alabama. They allowed us to be, that's God. They allowed us to set up our tent, all our banners and our racks of clothing. Ladies, we got ladies' clothing too, shorts. They allowed us to set all that up on the dock and have an international launch. I went and asked for permission, and the white guy who was the captain of the boat, he looked at me and said, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And then he just went on about his business.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of took that as, oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
And so I guess that was like, you can set up, brother. And a good guy, captain, and another guy there, the first mate, Chuck, we became friends later that day. But I got to set up, and we sell shirts. Chair Bro honors that day, but it's about resilience. It's about perseverance. It's about standing up for what you know is right. But it's not just about that act of violence. Let me take you back to 1972.
Okay.
The presidential campaign. There was a black woman named Shirley Chisholm running for president. Shirley Chisholm says, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. So it has a double meaning. So it's called Chair Bro. And right now, there's no need for any of you out there to buy polo when you can buy
Chair Bro.
That's right. Chair Bro. It's real simple. Chairbro.org. It's a nonprofit. Our funds go back to feeding back into our community. Our goal is that you see this cotton right here and these threads. We support West Tennessee and North Mississippi black cotton farmers. So every shirt you see has a connection to a West Tennessee black farmer, cotton farmer, or Mississippi black cotton farmer. So we're trying to pour this into, They say our dollars don't circulate enough. An eventual goal is that 100% will be there. But right now, because we don't own the whole manufacturing process, and the shirts would be too expensive if I tried to keep it that way. But I insist that part of it, our production or our post-production, happens at a factory that's at least nice to black people.
Right.
If we can't own the factory, I'll go in and check. You nice to black people? All right, cool.
You got my business.
Do you have black tires on your truck? All right, you can help us.
So let me ask you this. So
yeah,
how are the people, once you're done with the tour,
okay,
what's the vibe? Like, are they happy for the new knowledge? Do they want to do it again? Do they want to tell their friends? Like, how are they reacting to you?
Google me, baby. Google me, baby.
You got some good reviews.
Good reviews. They love it. People are excited. People are motivated, too. So you come off our tour, you're learning history and herstory. And it's not just about Nashville's the best. Like, you come out of New York and come out of Atlanta, and you'll feel like, yeah, that was there. But when you can hear our story at Nashville, you realize that Nashville is in Chicago. Nashville's in St. Louis. Nashville's in Dallas. Nashville's in Nacogdoches. Nashville is everywhere because the story of the black experience is everywhere. So we help people realize that, yes, Wilma Rudolph was here, but she came from a small town in Tennessee called Clarksville.
Right.
Yes, Levi Watkins was helped heart defibrillation. Was here at Tennessee State University, but he came from elsewhere. People realize that everywhere you look, like if I touch this bottle right now, David, what am I going to leave on it?
Fingerprint.
The fingerprints of Nashville are all over the world. Black Nashvillians and African American Nashvillians have impacted the world. So our fingerprints touch medicine, science, music, religion, civil rights, law, arts. Every topic that you can name, we have touched it in a positive way. And sometimes in some not so positive way, because Michael Jackson's doctor went to my hair, so we don't even want to mention him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we had some silly stuff that happened in Nashville too. Like there was a guy called the Foot Stomper. The Foot Stomper will go through North Nashville stomping on people's feet.
No.
Really. And we also had something called the Midnight Caller in Nashville. The Midnight Caller would call women up on the phone.
I heard, you know what?
And be like, hey, baby, leave the window open. Big Daddy coming through. My goodness. And women would leave the window open.
Right.
This was before the rose. So...
No, hold on. You get the other one. That is hilarious.
Today we're like, no, I'm good. I don't even need a man.
No, I'm straight. I'm straight. Well, you know what? How are your kids viewing your new venture? You know, how they handle all this new information? Because I know you feed them constantly.
They get it. I try to leave them. I try to impact them positively. If you meet my students at school, yes. My kids at home, I guess they kind of get it. They get the benefit of it. Okay. My personal children aren't taking the mantle the way I want them to, but it's okay. My students at school, they kind of get it. They ask me about the business. They help me plan for it. I was teaching at a school that was primarily Hispanic, and the kids were like, Mr. Whitley, you need to tint the windows on that bus. And I'm like, all right, well, who should I go to? So they gave me a Hispanic window tinter across from Sam's and Antioch. The guy hooked me up, decent price, and he's like, Mr. Will, you need to wrap that bus. I'm like, oh, okay. Who do you suggest? And it's like, man, we got my cousin's dad's friend has got a Hispanic shop, and he does rapping, and he does quinceañera parties, and he's a jack of all trades. So I went to the Hispanics, and they wrapped it for me. But I got black folks working on it too, so I didn't sell us all out for that. Right. Oprah says you got to keep some good white folk on your team. I'm gonna say you got to keep some good white folks, some Mexicans, and some blacks on your team. So the kids are receiving it well. I got a banner inside of Knowledge Academies in Antioch. Knowledge Academies have been good to me for a while, and so I sponsored their students and their sports with a banner and then other things that the school needed. So if you go into Knowledge Academies, there's a large banner that says Soul of America Tours. It's been there for several years. Shout out to Chad Germany.
Root to the bros.
Root to the good bros.
Wow.
But so the students like this too.
Yeah, of course.
And plus, I think a phrase that I hated when I was teaching, I said, those who can do, and those who can't teach. Right. And so that always hurt me. And so I figured if I can teach, I can also do. And so I always wanted to do. And so teaching was just a way, doing this was a way of doing what I talked about history. So let me live it. And I needed a little extra money. So let me monetize my gift. You got a gift. Monetize your gift. Don't wait till you're old like me. You got gray hair and you got no hair up here. You're missing teeth in the back. Go on and monetize your gift. Right. Proverbs 18:16 says your gift will make room for you. I guess that takes back to what you asked me earlier, David, about I let fear and doubt go, and I stopped at the intersection of faith and action. And but Bible says your gift will make a room for you, and not your education, not your learning, but your gift. Think about working in the gift you got. It'll make room for you. So I'm stepping out there on faith. I may not go back to teaching this year. I know I need to get one more year done because I'm at 29 years, and I don't want to miss all that retirement money that can come from it. So I'm going to have to go back and do a year somewhere teaching. So if you're hiring, I'm looking for a position, hopefully maybe an online position. Maybe you let me sweep or something because I still plan on doing this and taking it national. And I got a whole bunch of gigs all the way through next month or so. So by the time the winter gets here, I'm going to really be looking for a job.
Wow. And so I got a good question right here.
What's a good question? Every question been good, man. Thank you.
Hey, man, that's what I do. I'm getting better.
This is amazing. I remember when you talked about this as an idea, but it's a reality. Right. You at the high table. As I look at this table, man, folks, I don't know if y'all can see on these cameras, but you probably seen it on other cameras. This table is a basketball court. Yeah. And so you talked about this table is Sankofa. Sankofa is an African principle of you're looking back to go forward. Okay. So this is probably, tell me, this is in your past.
This is in my past. This actually is the piece of the basketball court from Trevecca Nazarene College.
Wow.
So when I played 4 years there from 88 to 92, it was cut out not specifically for me, but one of my mentors, Greg Ruff. And I'm in this, we kind of working at his house. He said, hey, man, you want the table? Not thinking I would lead to this right here. I just liked the table, had room for it. And here we are. So this table really had a big hand in who I become. You know, going to college, young, coming from an all-black school, going to a predominantly white school.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm at a school where there were some students that had never seen a black person in person, only on television.
Wow.
See, I would get Bible verses in my mailbox, but also I would get some hate mail. You know,
Okay.
I see what you're doing. You know, so
It's the early 90s or late 80s.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
So,
which is only 10 years away
Right.
from the civil rights movement, 15 years away.
right, and so the world was different.
Yeah.
See, and you talk about discipline. This is what having mentors in your life. We couldn't wear shorts. We couldn't wear shorts. We couldn't wear tank tops. We couldn't go to movies.
It was a religious school.
Right. Nazarene, we couldn't go to dances. And I come from a household where you follow authority. If you got to be in by 11, it was no big deal for me. And I seen black people come and go. Come and go, man. It just can't, it was too stringent. I don't know that. At that time, I wasn't up on people's environment. You know, just kind of judge them how they were.
Right.
Not knowing that it was because of whatever they went through. But, man, it was fine for me. I had no problem with it. You know, weekends, you can come in at 12. I'm in here. I'm in by 12.
Yeah.
No big deal, guy. I can't wear shorts. Couldn't have girls in the dorm. Well, you know, I had.
We'll test that.
Yeah, I had to test that theory.
Yeah.
By that time, I was an All-American in basketball. I could do what I wanted. Well, anyway, you know,
You said Trevecca.
Trevecca.
Man, why you make me do that, man? Because the Trevecca sits on the property of what was one of Nashville's first HBCUs. It was right there on Murfreesboro Road, right? So before it was Trevecca, it was Walden College. Walden College was called Central Tennessee College. Before that was TSU, there was Central Tennessee College. Central Tennessee College had a medical wing.
Okay.
Take a guess what the medical wing of Central Tennessee College and Walden College was.
Talk to me.
Meharry.
Wow.
So the first Meharry was right there with Trevecca,
Right.
and further on down by where Cameron is.
Right, yeah.
And so
yeah.
I don't know if they ever told you, but you're sitting on hallowed ground. That was a black school.
Wow.
Now, one of the things kind of ended it. The state opened Tennessee State University in 1912. So with the state funding, a private institution just couldn't. Kind of like Fisk is struggling
Right.
today, and TSU is not. When you got the resource and the money of a state school, although we've been stolen by $2 billion.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and so the resource of a state school private school couldn't compete. But sitting right there, it was black history and herstory.
My mother told me they used to hang out at J.C. Napier.
Yes, that was one of Nashville's first black neighborhoods.
Right.
And it was first black neighborhood because of not just the project area, but that whole out south area, because Fort Negley was a Civil War fort.
Okay.
And as a so know your history and your herstory, people. And we're everywhere. The fingerprints of us are everywhere. So Fort Negley was a Civil War fort. And so when these Civil War soldiers, the good guys, well, the kind of the good guys,
Right.
they came here and they were ending slavery at least. And they might not necessarily have been good. They were at least ending slavery,
Right.
not for our sake, but they just wanted to end it because they didn't want the nation to break up.
Right.
But they were ending slavery, which is a good thing for us.
Okay.
And so when the Civil War soldiers set up shop at Fort Negley, the word went out. And the word went out all across Middle Tennessee. They came to make us free. They came to make us free.
Wow.
And so when the word got out that they came to make us free, African Americans just kind of swarmed South Nashville.
Right.
And so that became after the Civil War was over, black stayed. And became one of the first black neighborhoods. That's why we're going to have the first Meharry is going to be located right along in there. And so the projects are there because America's been racist ever since. And so a lot of our black people were not able to rise up out of the racism because every decade following slavery, except for maybe about a 10-year period, the nation fought against our independence. And so think about this. Donald Trump was willing to send the nation to hell over him getting back in the presidency.
Right.
So we've seen how fierce people fight for the president. But the election of 1877, this is what white Americans did.
Right.
White Americans said, you can have the presidency.
Right.
You can have the presidency if we can treat niggas bad.
Wow.
See, there was a thing called Reconstruction. Reconstruction was, we're going to have to treat black people fairly. But some racist white Americans hated treating us fairly. So they said, listen, if you just take away these penalties for treating black people bad, if you take away these soldiers who is forcing us to treat black people decent, if you take that away, you can have the presidency. People fight tooth and nail to be president, but white America was like, you can have the presidency. Just let us F with Negroes. And literally, I can't make this up. This is what happened. You can probably read it somewhere else a little more sanitized.
Right.
But the essence of it was, let us fuck with niggas and you can have the presidency.
Wow.
And so I got Drape-Toed mania, people, and I'm woke AF. But I would tone it down in the classroom. So if you look at me like, we can't hire that guy. He cussed too much. I would tone it down for your students. But in other avenues, I'm not going to tone it down.
Well, I remember you being in the classroom, and you never cussed in the classroom.
No.
You were stern.
Because the principal told me not to.
Yeah, and you were burning on the kids as they would try to burn on you, But that environment was an environment of learning, and that what made you a great teacher. You don't teach for 30 years and not be great.
Yeah. But I had respect for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Right.
And these students were me 20, 30 years prior to that.
Right.
And so I didn't always have my act together or my mind together. And so I understood that, and I understand from the teaching I learned at Tennessee State University, the pedagogy, that their brains not fully developed and their social and rationalization skills. They care more about how they're viewed by their friends than your feelings as a teacher. And so I learned not to take it personal and stuff like that.
Right. Now I respect that guy. And I did not know that about Trevecca.
Yeah, Trevecca's on the land of blacks and black college, and it wasn't taken. Unlike Vanderbilt and Peabody, if you want to get in that stir, that was taken. And so
Vanderbilt's always been something else.
Well, it's a mixed bag. It's kind of like Chris Rock say, America's like that uncle that paid for you to go to college but touched you as a child.
Yeah.
He molested you, but to pay for you to go to college. So Vanderbilt, to their credit, what they're going to have is Perry Wallace, a guy who's going to integrate SEC basketball. Perry Wallace and Vanderbilt does for SEC basketball what Jackie Robinson did for baseball.
Right.
If you put it in perspective like that. And so Vanderbilt is going to have, we just named a school here in town, Charles Lawson. Vanderbilt is going to have Charles Lawson join their divinity program, one of the first in the nation to do that. And so they're going to pave the way for African Americans, but they were a school of their times too. This was a racist nation, but to their credit, they did step outside of the boundaries of what was normalcy and fight back.
Wow. Shout out to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Back to my Trevecca days, man, just formulating how to deal with white people.
Okay.
There was a struggle at times, called a nigger there. Just things that I've gone through that kind of shaped me who I am today. But I wonder how my son deals with racism, because he lived in such a bubble. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? His mother and I have done pretty good at protecting him. But now he's 22. He graduates.
Congratulations.
And he had 12 more hours in December. Wow. He get his diploma. The world is going to shock him because it's not the world that he knows or been a part of. So I'm interested to see that transition from, hey, man, everybody cool, to, hold on. Everybody's not your friend. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to having some very, very good conversations with my son.
You probably already had him, because I don't know. He can be in a bubble of safety and security, but he's still seeing Breonna Taylor.
Sure,
he's
absolutely.
Still seeing George Floyd. Right. He's still seeing Philando Castile. So he still understands that there's a world where we just saw the guy who went up in Chicago, wherever it was, shooting all those people, and they kind of find him naked, but he walks into jail, a little bruised, but he's alive. We've had black people with toy guns or with rappers, candy wrappers and cell phones. They dead. Right. And so I think he sees that. And so understanding, I think, and knowing you the way I know you, he understands that there's a world out there, and but not all white people are bad.
Yeah, I agree.
And so there are some races like that. Not all black people are good either. And so it goes both ways.
Right.
And so, but I think he understands that. But it's good that you gave him a bubble, Because it's kind of like you didn't want him to not to have a bubble. It's like we put our baby in a carriage to protect them. We put our baby. We chop up their food when they're infants to protect them. Right. So what you're calling a bubble wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It was you was incubating him while he needed incubation, and so he could be strong enough to go into this world that he's going to get. So don't feel necessarily bad about that.
Okay. Well, we're going to end right now, and I want to give you the platform for your shameless plug. This guy here has come to my studio, taking over the studio. He come in with an assistant.
I did have an assistant. Shout out to Kenny Martin. Yeah. Kenny Floyd Martin, basketball coach at Maplewood High School, Maplewood High School, and an extraordinary teacher at Martin Luther King.
Yeah, absolutely. He came in with an assistant, boxes, clothing rack, So I'm going to give him the platform, Rubik's Cube. Hey, man, talk your talk, sir.
Hey, folks. I'm Fred Whitley, just plain Fred, as my dad would say. Support Soul of America Tours. We give back to the community. It's one of my passions. I love teaching. My wife kicked me out the house on Saturdays because she got tired of me teaching her. She said, stop teaching me and go find you somebody else. And so I found me a classroom on wheels. That's essentially Soul of America Tours. My latest venture is Chair Bro. We kind of talked about that. If you're a UT fan, we got you there.
Chair Bro.
If you love 06 for some reason, we don't hate against you. We got something for you. If you love 1922, we got something for you. If you love 1913 or 1913 also, shout out to the sisters, Saras, we got something for you. You just need banging in my white tee. You just need a plain white tee. Yeah. We got that. But it's called Chair Bro because we do polos. So we got a golf polo around here somewhere. I've been taking up some golfing at 10 Road. So you can get a Chair Bro in Divine 9 colors or SEC colors, or you can just get it in just regular any old color. So don't buy polo, buy
Chair Bro.
One last thing. I got something else I'm bringing to market too. I promise you, I'm trying to replace my teacher salary. I got a sightseeing tour bus. We're gonna start an on-bus murder mystery. The first on-bus murder mystery is gonna be called The Fierce Holdup. And it's I
like that.
It's a music mogul themed murder mystery and meal. So I call it a music mogul theme because I can't say this woman's name, but I will tell you that everybody needs to come in your best Beyonce Baytective outfit.
Baytective.
Come dressed in your best Beyonce Baytective outfit. Notice Fierce, Sasha Fierce, Hold Up's a song. So that's coming this fall. On bus murder mystery. And use us for transportation. We'll take you wherever you want to go, folks. We just won't take you to hell.
There it is. This has been very entertaining.
Thank you, brother.
This is very entertaining, and I love using my platform to help people, guys. To look out for the bros, to look out for anybody that got something to say. My platform is a platform of healing.
Okay, it is.
You know what I'm saying? Of mental health.
That's right.
Business. I may have some sports people on here.
Okay.
But everybody got a story.
Yeah, they do.
You just told the people you need to write a book.
That's right.
You need to do something. You see what I'm saying? Right. It's in you. And so this was, instead of arguing with people and debating with people on Facebook, why don't I create a platform we can have some healthy conversation? Yes. My goal is to monetize it at some point.
Yes.
But you got to go through the grind first.
That's right.
And so the way I interview now will not be the way I interview 6 months from now.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And so I've researched, I studied. I'm trying to go back and look at myself. I'm not a fan of that, but I got to do it to get better.
That's
so,
right.
Just the minor agitation that you need, of the sandpaper before it smooths you out. You see what I'm saying? See, that was a bar.
That was a bar. The agitation of the sandpaper before it smooths you out. You got to grind before you shine, or you got to grind to shine.
Preach. See, I'm trying to tell you. So you're gonna see black people on my show. You're gonna see white people on my show, and I'm gonna be a little bit controversial. Okay?
That's okay.
Just a tad bit.
Because a knife has to be sharp to cut.
Right.
Who needs a dull knife?
And I want to tell you, I haven't asked this person yet, but they're going to come because they are an advocate for their community.
You're coming.
Yeah, and I'm going to leave it.
And I want to thank you on the front end. Whoever he's talking about,
yeah.
I want to thank you in advance for coming.
Yeah, because it's something else. Well, look,
To the high table.
We're gonna end right here.
Can we do one thing before we go?
Absolutely.
Hey man, pick a shirt out that you want. I want you in one of these shirts, bro.
What size you got over there?
We got all sizes from large all the way up to 4XL. Any color combination you think you like. Okay. And then we got some here. We got more. We got boxes down here.
I need a triple X. Triple X right here. Yeah, triple X. I'm not ready for a double X yet.
No, this is triple X.
Give me that. I like that. I'm gonna wear it to a birthday party. That's what I'm talking about, man. You know what? And this guy here is gonna be my first endorsement. He's gonna buy a commercial.
That's right. I'm buying commercials.
You buy commercials. We got to come up with a price point.
For right $3.99. Priced at $3.99.
$3.99. But listen, at some point we're going to monetize this thing like crazy. We're gonna have commercials. We're gonna have it all. But first, we got to get better. And so I've learned a lot. Always, you have been a bro of history. When I was going through the process, you threw me some jewels I needed that came in handy. Saved me a couple times. Thank you very much.
That's what the brothers do.
Absolutely. But also, man, I want to thank you for being just who you are.
Thank you.
A Renaissance man. A man that's willing to take that leap. If this not working, let's try something else. If that's not working. Because I think we've all were at some point held under the umbrella that this is the only way we can make money. No. When I told my dad I wanted to go into real estate, he looked at me like I was crazy.
Okay.
Because his father told him, you make money one way. Wake up in the morning and work all night. Don't be creative.
That was a different world they lived in.
A different world, absolutely. Right. Growing up in Jim Crow and all that stuff.
Oh, yes.
I get that. So
we can't overlook that.
Right. And so, but for you, having children that went to NSA around other creatives.
Yeah.
Hey man, listen, that's an influence. As I think about it, they're being creative, but you're in the classroom trying to be creative. Yeah. So now you leave the classroom, and now you can spread your wings and do whatever you want to do. How about that? You're your own boss. Yet you're helping your own people. Really, people in general who want to learn about the dopest culture out there, if you ask me.
Amen to that.
You see what I'm saying? And so we're not all bad. We have our issues, but we dope as hell.
We are.
We are dope as hell, guys. You know what I'm saying? We play spades on a tour bus.
That's what we do.
You know what I'm saying? You know
what happens if you renege on the bus?
Ooh, the bus got to pull over, guys.
You know what we call you?
What's that?
A renegger. I promise you, it's about 10 people this summer, family members who are renegers, and when they see them, they look at that renegger.
I'm gonna tell you, I can play spades, but don't be my partner.
I'm not that good at it because people will fight over spades.
I mean, what you talking about?
You get that brown liquor in you.
Ooh, man, you get that brown liquor. Plus, I went to Jamaica. We weren't playing spades at Jamaica, guys.
Y'all playing Biz. Now, Biz black too.
Who's playing Nintendo?
Okay, younger generation.
Yeah. You know, and sometimes I have a friend.
Finish him.
Yeah, oh my God. I have some friends that try to pull me on my black card. You don't know how to play spades? I do. But I ain't trying to play like in front of people, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't 50.
No, I ain't playing at the cookout. You ain't going to throw my food in the trash can because I can't play. All right, guys, we're going to end right here. I want to thank Mr. Whitley for coming on and sharing a little bit about himself and what he's doing. And let's support the brother at soulamericatour.org.
.com for that.
.com for that. And
Chairbro.org.
Chairbro, which is hilarious. Chairbro.org and tour. What is it?
SOA Tours.
Soul of America.
Well, Soul of America Tours.
SoulofAmericaTours.com. See?
I shortened that to SOA Tours just for that purpose. .com.
SOA Tours. And so let's support.
Or Tubman Garvey Tours. However you hit it, we're going to be there.
Let's support the brother. Let's stay consistent. Let's like, share, and subscribe to all platforms. And we'll see you next time. Y'all have a good day.
Peace.